Malbonte stood over the maps. He enthusiastically marked something without paying attention to me. Those are my friends. Can I see them? Please. He slowly looked up. The expression on his face made me feel small, silent, and cowardly. I obediently and anxiously waited for his answer. My heart skipped a beat when I heard his calm but menacing voice. And whom do you want to visit? Fire. Ooh, we can visit Fire. Perhaps no one, just someone else. Oh, we can visit Lucifer. At this point, let's just visit Lucifer. Lucifer. Because, why I want to visit Lucifer? Because he was so pissed and literally asked, you two are always together. So I hope I can get him a little jealous. Malbonte strangely jerked his head, see? He straightened up and his gaze became more intense, see? He repeated the name as if he just had a revelation. See? Oh my god. Love it. Oh my god, I'm living. Lucifer. Malbonte sat down and leaned back in his chair, continuing to pierce through me with his evil eyes. It seems to me that you don't really grasp the essence of our situation. Oh, really? You can't order me around like a mistress. I'm sorry, I'm not a mistress. You have no right to ask, let alone demand anything. The only reason you're still in one piece and unshackled was because you never gave me an answer. Are you with me or against me? And my patience is about to run out. I leaned against the table and exclaimed, I promise to give my answer as soon as I see my friends. He looked at me for a long time, studying my face, and soon replied, Path of high glory, okay? And your visit won't give me any trouble. No, I give you my word. Good, let's see how much your promise is worth. Not him saying, let's see how much your promise is worth. He nodded the demon guarding the exit behind me. Take her to the captives. She has 15 minutes. Thank you. Malbonte kept staring at me seriously, betraying the concerned thoughts in his head. Okay. The gel sauce. The gel sauce. The mirror was broken, but I could still see myself. I felt like a puppet, dressed inappropriately for the show, or a dirty doll about to get changed. Therefore, I obediently stood at the mirror and waited for the outfits prepared for me. Malbonte's orders I have to obey. I quickly learned this rule. Yeah, you're being smart. Addie, why are you doing this to me? Malbonte is kind to those who play by the rules. You mean the ones who play by his rules? Addie took several clothes from the heap and handed them to me. Why did you do this? The what? Join Malbonte. You already asked me that. I'm not tired of asking yet. But perhaps he's tired of answering. Addie nodded towards the door. Come on, it's time. For what? I was sitting obediently on a chair with my hands on my lap. Zigzag stood in front of me and looked around with a stupid grin, as if trying to take everything around us in. Why so sad? You're not in jail, you're free. Uh-huh. Thanks for that. Oh my god. Yeah. Why is that? Am I free? You're not shackled and you're breathing fresh air. You're not in a cage. Of course you're free. So can I fly away from here at any minute? Zigzag fell silent, his lips curled in a sneer. No, you can't. Maybe then I can walk around the camp on my own as much as I want? No, you can't. I leaned closer to him. Then your freedom is that. Of course, it's not as comfortable here as if it's in the school, but I think there's something unique about that. I shuddered when I heard his voice. I turned to him but said nothing. Come on, let's take a walk. We strolled in silence. I felt it was painful for Malbonte, but I deliberately continued to be silent. Finally, he broke down and asked, maybe you have some questions for me. You don't like it when I'm silent? What should I ask first? Learn strategic secrets. Ask about him. Yeah, ask about him. Not your relationship has improved. Okay. Consider yourself more of a demon? Oh my god. The second question. What is that? How does it feel to be in eternal darkness? This is literally a question of stereotyping someone. She already put him in a box. You know what? I'm gonna first ask the second question and then the first one. It seems to me a lot more logic that way. How does it feel to be in eternal darkness? And the darkness lived only the darkest side of my soul, and it survived only for revenge. But is that the only thing you want? Revenge? You're not only your evil side anymore, you also have your good side. I was like a red hot stove, and the moment I reconnected with my good side, it was as if someone poured a bucket of ice water over me. That! Because you're not only your evil side anymore. Now I'm thinking more soberly. But I was so furious, consumed by hatred. I watched my plan slowly come to fruition. I was pulled at the strings, trying not to overdo it, and not burn them to ashes with my anger. I'd rather cease to exist than return there again and be left without. Wow. That already said everything that had to be said. Okay. He fell silent, pursing his lips angrily. And be left without bond. We understood you. I'm so sorry. Like, honestly, MALBONTE, why are you mad at us for just speaking the truth? The truth hurts. Honestly, MALBONTE, like, you feel empty without all of your features. He was separated from his good side, and MALBONTE is not just a demon, and he's not just an angel, he's both. So being without his angel side, can I just say, I think this is a little strange. Like, apparently from everything that's going on here, like the way he's speaking, his demon side always overpowered his angel side. So when MALBONTE got split into Mal and Bond, and the good side was locked in the tower, the good side, as in Bond, was left with no memories of his former life. Bond didn't remember anything about his childhood or something like that. He told us that. But now that we're talking to MALBONTE, he says he remembers everything, like we see his past. So does that mean that when MALBONTE got split, that Mal had all the memories of his childhood and everything because MALBONTE's dark side was overpowering his angel side? So it was like his angel side existed somewhere, but it was nowhere to be reached. There was no way to get onto that goodness. So when they got split, Mal kept all the memories and MALBONTE was left as if he had amnesia. That's very interesting. I would like an answer for that. ... Yeah. Do you consider yourself more of a demon? MALBONTE thought for a long time before answering. I'm forced to be more of a demon. You're forced! Evil is expected of me. I'm a monster to everyone. Lies? I mean, yeah, they expect him all to be a monster, so yeah. But I don't think he's a monster, I don't think so. I actually just think that he's feeling hurt. Like, he was left alone his entire life, and he just wanted to belong. He just wanted people to care, and not just to fear him for who he is. He didn't want to be hunted. And all that hurt, you either get destroyed by it, or it turns you into something evil. He wasn't destroyed by that sadness, by that pain. He was turned into something evil in order to survive that pain. So, okay, MALBONTE, They wanted to destroy me as soon as I was born. They want to destroy me now. I adjust to the world that they created. That's sad, actually. That sounds like an excuse. That's funny. He turned to me. I'll destroy them all, and I don't care if I'm the monster in the eyes of others or not. I'll do whatever it takes to achieve my goal. And what is this goal? He said nothing. I've got no questions. Well, okay. Malbonte looked up at the sky. I want to show you something before it's dark. That falls fast, too. Where are we? Honestly. Wow. Oh my god, not the supantras. What appeared before my eyes struck me, frightened me, and evoked in me both admiration and horror. I froze. Back in the days when angels fought demons, each side wanted to tame these birds. Supandras are fast, strong and violent. They are perfect warriors. I'm terrified of these creatures. But no one ever managed to tame them. Except for you. I thoughtfully looked around at the flock of supandras, almost holding my breath. Except you. That. Except for me. I love this so much. There is a dark force in me that they obey. He stood behind me. I felt his breath over my ear. I feel tension. They cannot defeat me. Yeah. So they choose to obey you instead of dying. Suddenly paralyzed by fear, I whispered, "What are you trying to achieve?" I turned towards him and began to examine his face. He looked at Supandras, seeing each of them, and at the same time, as if not noticing a single one, he was thoughtful, serious, and ruthless when he replied, "I want to kill Sifa." Let's go. But the fact that he told us that. He carried on without looking at me, as if he never said those words. I have eyes and ears everywhere, at school and in the citadel. You won't catch me off guard. Sifa will pay for his indifference. Honestly, let's go. Sorry. He chuckled. And which of us is the great misanthrope? The creator that allowed his children to destroy each other? Or me who wants to change things, even if not everyone agrees with my methods? Both thought otherwise. Not Bond! Girl, you're only gonna make him more angry, you know. Bond thought otherwise. Comparing him with Bond caused an outburst of anger. That, obviously. He's in here. He's in here with me. Can you stop comparing me to someone that wasn't even a real person in the first place? He turned to me, grabbed me by the shoulders, his eyes piercing into my eyes. There's nothing worse than indifference. Woo! I'd rather come face to face with hate and pain than indifference, emptiness. Wow. Because there's no life in it. Oh, whew. He released me roughly, almost pushing me away, but he immediately calmed down. He exhaled. He regained his former composure and spoke in a calm voice. Come on, a reunion awaits us. Reunion? Yes. All of us combined. Malbonte held out his hand, inviting me to join them. Glad we're all here. I'm so impressed with his wings. Oh my god. I think you've had enough time to consider which side you're on. Ooh! Everyone was silent, so nobody wants to speak up. The fact he was so shook. Lucifer stepped forward. I do. Ooh! Malbonte said nothing, just lifted his head a little higher. I'll fight for you if everything you want to do is make this world a better place. And if after the war I take my father's place. Wow. No. No. Not the anger. No. Malbonte then looked at Mimi, as if letting Lucifer know that he's done talking to him. He said, sit down. Have you decided? I like it here, but no. I see. Andy, such a skilled flying soldier would be useful to me. Go to... I can't with the smile. Not the smile. Andy fell to his knees, writhing in pain, while MALBONTE didn't even twitch. That's what happens. If this were active wartime, I'll personally impale you for those words. Oh! And he abruptly relaxed, as if the execution spasm that took over his body miraculously stopped. Don't ever talk to me that way again, puppy. Ooh. He looked at me. What about you? Have you changed your mind about me? Yes. Yes. For better or worse. Better. His face showed no emotion, but it seemed to me he put great effort into it. I'm glad to hear it. You're bound with MALBONTE's growing streak. MALBONTE wanted to say something else, but Dinah spoke in a loud and demanding voice. Oh my god. No one will follow you. I disagree. Let me stop. Did you decide that? Oh, I can't with the fighting. Yes, I did. So be quiet. Silence, Fancy, yo. Don't say words that mean nothing to you. MALBONTE stepped aside, watching from the sidelines yet another show. MALBONTE is me. He's me. He's like, yes. Go off. You don't know anything about what I went through. You fell in love with a woman, but the world shouldn't pay for your romantic failures. Oh! Addie jumped up. Let's go. He breathed heavily, but didn't say anything. He was shaking. Fancy also stood up, leisurely, smiling hotly. Poor baby Sammy, but it had to be done. His death was necessary. You and MALBONTE said no, right? Addie's lips slowly parted as if he had to force them, and his hoarse, choked voice was heard. That's right. He walked around the fire and stood next to Fenzio. He reached out his hand for a handshake. Fenzio looked at it with interest, hesitated a little, but in the end he held out his hand in response. Addie sharply pulled him towards himself, roughly hugged him so that his lips were at Fenzio's ear. Oh my. The silence was excruciating. And we all could hear Addie's quiet whisper. You didn't kill Sammy. You killed me. Yes. Technically, he killed both of them. Like, by killing Sammy, he killed Addie as well. Like, Addie is a living corpse. He's trying to continue life, but he can't get over that because literally Sammy was Addie's soulmate. He loved this man to the ends of the earth and back. Like, he truly and unbelievably loved him. And by killing him, he literally took his reason to live. Like, he's a living corpse now. He doesn't have a reason that he wants to continue living. It was one-hand movement, but Fenzio flinched. They slowly pulled away from each other. Fenzio pulled a long, curved knife from his own stomach. He writhed in pain, but forced himself to straighten up. He looked at Addie, surprised, even with some newfound respect. Fair enough. For Sammy. Oh, God. With one sharp move, his hand went straight into Fenzio's wound. Addie tore something inside of his enemy, and Fenzio fell to his knees, already choking on his own blood. Huh? MALBONTE jumped up, but stopped. He didn't budge until Fenzio contorted one last time and froze completely. Yes! I'm so sorry. Then MALBONTE swiftly came up to Addie and, pressing his hands to the demon's head, overpowered him. Addie, like Fenzio, fell to his knees. No! Addie! He had a confused look on his face. We could see poisonous black lines waving under his skin and disappearing. The poison was soaking deeper into his flesh. Honestly, this was the best thing MALBONTE could have done for Addie. He literally is not living anymore. The pain has reached a point of no return. He is a living corpse. At least now he can be with Sammy. And he doesn't have to suffer anymore. You know what you got into, Addie. I threw myself at him, shedding tears. Addie! He croaked. Everything will be okay, remember? Addie fell on his side. His eyes looked empty. He was staring into the abyss of non-existence. No. Huh? Huh? Ooh! Andy! Andy being an icon. Andy somehow freed himself from the ropes and spread his wings. He kicked the bonfire and the burning logs hit Malbonte's face. Wow! A terrible roar broke out of his chest. Come on. Mimi, Lucifer, and Dino, having clearly agreed, rushed forward. They had imperceptibly freed each other's wings and now could fly away. Even a single moment of surprise gives one an advantage. Fancy was twitching, but Mimi managed to grab a log and shatter it against his head. Dino and Lucifer were circling around Malbonte from different sides, tying him with ropes. Let's go! He couldn't move. Fly, Zimuna. What about fire? I'll free him. Fly. Malbonte tore both ropes with one jerk. I mean, what did you expect? Up. No, he can't follow you beyond the energy dome. I raised my head and saw a newly finished, barely noticeable dome shimmering under the moonlight. That's the territory protected by the amulet. Lucifer and Mimi have already taken off. I spread my wings. Not so fast. If you'd tear off my wings. As soon as I rose above the ground, Malbonte grabbed my wings. No. He squeezed them tighter and tore them out. Yeah, I remember that. Look at that. Oh my god. No, but our face. Wow. I fell to the ground. For several seconds, I was on all fours, trembling with pain, feeling the trickle of blood dripping down my back. Simona, no! Mimi's scream was heard from somewhere above. A thought flashed through my head. They're far away. They'll save themselves. I'm not as strong as I used to be. Because of you. You have great strength, but it's mine. Mine. Do you understand? And I heard a voice inside my head. No, his power is in me. I got up. My legs were trembling, but I powered through. I stood in front of Malbonte. He didn't move. He looked sullen, and then he smiled. The two of you wings. Let this be a lesson. Nah, just alone because of that I'm gonna grow new ones. I tightened my back muscles. I can do it. I can do it. With one painful jerk, new wings grew out of my flesh. Let's go. Honestly, these ones are very, very insane, but I like these. I don't know, I like the fire. I opened and folded them again, testing them. I looked at Malbonte. He was still smiling. Don't follow me. I won't. Oh? Do you remember my promise? Will you be my enemy now? He nodded. You can fly away. I will give you a 15-second head start. Is that so? My wings flapped. 1. The ascent was fast but challenging. I was choking on pain, but Malbonte kept counting, and that gave me strength. 5. I am weak, Malbonte. I reached the edge of the protective dome and turned around. Malbonte looked at me with a grin, but his eyes were serious. His look scared me. He'll keep his promise. Yeah. Simona, quick. Dino was approaching me with fire flying next to him. Fire? 11. I'm weak. I'm weak with that smile. By this time, a whole army has gathered around Malbonte. He raised his hand, gesturing everyone to stand down. Malbonte looked as if he was about to start a race. I mean, he is. He's opening the gunfire, and his face had the look of amusement at the upcoming chase. I was flying, trying to focus on the ones in front of me. I was afraid to turn around. I was afraid to be distracted, even for a second. But then I heard Malbonte's voice and I understood. The game was on. 15. Yes. Mom went up the stairs, grabbed the horn and lifted it up like some kind of trophy. Mom is like a gambler. She loves obstacles and loves to be victorious. You can't win. The whisper came from somewhere within. It was something bigger than me. I immediately understood, although I couldn't explain how, that the valley had nothing to do with it. I have already heard this voice, but where? You will have saved them only by becoming their enemy. Wow. Yeah, MALBONTE. You will save them only by becoming their enemy. Who is it? The voice didn't answer. Mom handed me the horn, not hiding the pleasure of the find. This horn will help us win. No, it won't. I reached out to touch it, but the horn slipped out of my mother's hands, right into MALBONTE's hands. Our separation was short-lived. Did you miss me? Unconditionally, sir. That's funny. You know you missed him. I'm sorry, but the savageness, like the fact that he's I don't even know it in English. I only know it in Italian. Faccia tosta. That's exactly what he is. Like literally, he has this face. Him being so headstrong is so attractive. He's like, our separation was short-lived after all. Did you miss me? I know I did. Let me stop. A dozen demons stood behind MALBONTE. How did you know about the horn? Apparently someone told him. It was easy to guess that this will be your next step. Mom kept her back straight, but she was tense. She inhaled heavily and exhaled, almost menacingly, and said, I hope you don't think that we'll just give you the horn that easily. Oh, I hope you wouldn't. MALBONTE! All of a sudden, all we could see were lightning-fast hand movements causing energy waves. Screams, turns, flashes of lightning. Everything happened quickly. Like a well-rehearsed dance, the fight between Mom and MALBONTE looked like an artistic performance. We stood on the sidelines, not daring to intervene. Doing so would only hurt. Mom and MALBONTE didn't need a third wheel. It was the primordial battle between matter and antimatter, light and darkness, white and black, good and evil. But something went wrong. One wrong move or 1 second of delay and Mom was captured in MALBONTE's hands. No! A demonstration of how easy it is to end up in my arms. I want to be in your arms. That's so rude. Take me! And even the horn wouldn't help you. So don't be too upset. He pushed Mom away so hard that she crashed into the tree and fell to the ground. He's like, off you go. He gave a sign to the demons and his mocking, victorious voice regained its former graveness. We have the horn. We're leaving. I tried to help Mom. How are you? She brushed me off and got up on her own. MALBONTE had already disappeared and this angered her. The good news is, we know what MALBONTE's next steps are. To kill Sifa, he needs to get the keys to Sifa's gate. The only pair of keys is guarded in the very heart of the citadel. That's his next target. Perhaps it is about your daughter being held captive by MALBONTE for several days. How do you know? We agreed, Rebecca. You had to report your daughter's every move. Mom didn't even look at me. She fixed her gaze on the chief counselor. Why did you keep silent? Because there are more important things to do now than to tantle. Enlighten us. Thanks to my daughter and others who managed to escape, we know for sure that the Supantras obey MALBONTE. We tried to get hold of the horn, but he beat us to it. Where's the horn now? MALBONTE has it. The immortals exchanged meaningful glances. The Supantras will not help him. Simona, how did you manage to escape from MALBONTE? He didn't try that hard to keep me. That's funny. You see the monster he said to be. No, he's not like that at all. The chief counselor quickly raised his eyes to me as if things just became interesting. And who is he if not a monster? A victim of circumstances. The chief counselor smiled, but his smile looked more like a grin. His face instantly aged and became severe, nothing like usual calm expression. What difference does it make if he's a monster or not? He's going to attack us, and we have to fight back. What is he after, Rebecca? Are you asking me, a simple school principal? Let's go. I'm asking the Supreme Seraph who has been suspended from office. Unless, of course, you want your suspension to be permanent. You know, I hate people like that. They're actually even using people when I have the upper hand. I have earned my place here. I have proved it a long time ago. We have different concepts of time. I have ruled for so long that your presence is just a moment to me. Ooh! Mom lifted her head. But still. So prove one more time that you deserve to be here. No, stop playing these games with me. Mom turned around and quickly walked to the door. I followed her, but she suddenly froze. She closed her eyes, thinking about something. Her lips trembled from all her overwhelming feelings. She sighed, turned around, and returned. There are things more important than my pride and yours. Wow! Malbonte wants to kill Sifa. He needs the citadel, otherwise, why are Supantra so important to him? He wants to seal the keys to Sifa's gate. Exactly. This is just a crazy idea of a madman. Even we cannot touch them. Only Sifa can take them into his hand. Even if I'm wrong and he doesn't need the keys, the citadel is his next target. This is why we have concentrated the entire army here. You're too confident, but I warned you. Sifa is my witness. I warned you. Woo! Go off. My mother and I headed for the exit, but the counselor's voice forced us to stop. Rebecca. He came down to us. I will guide you. He bowed slightly and with an elegant, well-defined gesture pointed to the door, letting us go first. Oh. This chief counselor walked us to the very door and even stepped outside. All of a sudden, he started to talk. He looked at the city in the distance. Thank you, Rebecca, for your effort. Mom shook her head and came closer to him without hiding her interest in the conversation. Are you so calm? Why so indifferent? Anyone but you, Aragon. Oh god, Malbonte's parents killed his sister. Ha ha ha. Aragon? Yes. What did you do? I started to study Malbonte's history. And what did you learn? Mom left the question unanswered. I should be more interested in catching him than anyone else. It's not his fault. Are you on his side? No, but my old feelings should not cloud my judgment. Wow! I'm trying to be impartial. And when you meet him face to face, will you be able to keep you calm? I'm too old to want vengeance. Wow! My face looks as young as it did then, but my mind is covered with a thick crust of past events and the infinity of time. Wow! I remember my sister just as clearly, and the pain of losing her has not faded, but I no longer feel the rage I did back then. It was difficult, but I admitted that there was no one else to punish for my loss. Malbonte's parents are long dead. Mom seemed to be delighted by the counselor's words. She smiled for the first time that day. As always, you are wise and prudent. However, Malbonte will die. Nah, he won't. He won't. This is the result of the two hypostases merging together. It is a blow to the face of harmony, and the descendants of such an alliance must be exterminated. Wow! Path of strong connection with Malbonte. Let's go, let's go. I'm so sorry. The counselor turned to me, and all of Malbonte's followers will face his fate. I see the subtle thread here. I understood you. He turned his whole body towards me. I do not think you did. I advise you to make your decision wisely. I know that I'm gonna kill you first. I'm gonna kill you first. If you were a cat, you would only have 2 lives. You have already lost one, and you will not get another. You lost it because of Malbonte. Don't forget that. She followed me, tried to grab my shoulder, but I threw her hand away. The sky rumbled as if nature had mirrored my mood. Simona! I soared up, flying aimlessly somewhere. Anger, fear, disgust, and all-consuming horror seethed in me. Suddenly I felt exhausted. A cliff flew in front of me and I rushed to it. Mom stopped next to me. What's wrong with you? I turned to her in anger. Are you seriously asking me that? Why did you try to kill him, Mother? Simona. She reached for me, but I pulled back. You're a monster. I've let so many things slide, but this, it's beyond me. There's no excuse for this. Really? You could have saved him. You could have warned him. Why didn't you do it? I don't know. You didn't know? Then you have some sort of suspicion. You want to blame me? Fine. But it's on you too. You chose to stay silent, even though you saw what I did. Is that your excuse? No, I'm not trying to make excuses. He was the lesser evil. You talk like a demon. Angel, demon, those are merely formalities, at least when so much time has passed. I sighed, leaned against the tree, and slid to the ground. My hair and clothes were wet. Water dripped into my eyes, mixed with tears. Or maybe I didn't cry. It was hard for me to tell at the moment. Why did you do that, Mom? She came close and sat down in front of me, ignoring the fact that she was soaking wet too. We had a contract with him. You helped me with something, he learned some things. We agreed that he wouldn't move further up the career ladder unless I go first, and he stays under my wing. But he filed a petition, well aware that opening his mind for reading is a mandatory test. The council would find out our secret. No secret is worth a life. I don't understand. So tell me or get lost. Mom jumped up, turned away from me pondering, then again turned to me and spoke. She sounded empathetic, although not devoid of severity. When rumors about Malbonte's return appeared, I was the one who took them seriously, but Erican didn't want to think about it. Mom had to scream so that I'd hear her over the rain and wind. I looked at the archives I could find, and I found an old register of all immortals. Names appear in this book automatically. It writes itself. I found out who Malbonte's parents were. So what? She leaned closer to me, took my face in her hands, and looked nervously into my face. Did you know that they were exiled to Earth as punishment? Yes. They lived out their days on Earth like mortals and died instantly, falling into non-existence. They no longer had a chance to become immortal, but they left descendants on Earth. My heart sank in anticipation. Simona, we are their descendants. I recoiled from her in tears. No, they can't be. Many centuries had passed before we were born, but we are their descendants, Simona. Descendants of Malbonte. I couldn't stop shaking. The freezing rain was unable to wash away my mom's words. You all learned our secret. He promised me. He gave me his word. If I hadn't killed him, they would have killed us. Erican doesn't want revenge on Malbonte, but he's determined to destroy the illegitimate children. You and I are too much of a threat for him. Do you understand what I'm saying? She shook me so that I came to my senses and hear what she was trying to convey to me. It's not just our lives at stake. We're not the last pawns in this fight. Yours life was less significant than ours in this equation. I can't play with lives like you do. I'm not asking you to. I'll take care of all the dirty work. Then why does it make you sad? Please, just don't interfere with my plans. You may hate me if you want. I can handle that. She stroked my head. Let's fly home. You're all wet. She wanted to help me up, but I ignored her outstretched hand and stood up on my own. We started the long journey back to the academy. It's a full moon. The spires of the school seemed longer and more imposing at night. I looked at the horizon, at the clouds, and at the roof. A male silhouette caught my eye and wouldn't let me turn away or blink. It was Malbonte. Huh? He stood still on the roof and watched me. I opened the window and flew towards him, drawn by some inexplicable impulse. My feet touched the slope of the roof. I stopped. Malbonte didn't move either. I took a few steps forward and finally found my voice. What are you doing here? Aren't you afraid of me? This is just a vision. I know it. Nah, it's not. He came so close to me that I could smell his skin. Yes, it's a vision. Is it? His hand froze next to my face. But I can hurt you. Oh, it's a vision. Okay. His cold finger touched my cheek. I felt it, as if it were real, and I shuddered. He immediately lowered his hand. We're distant relatives. Did you know about that? So distant it doesn't really matter. Sir. We're still related. People have the feeling this is incest. This is incest. MALBONTE sat on the very edge, dangling his legs. So you knew? Of course I knew. And you didn't tell me. You killed me. I was nothing but darkness back then, and you were just some mortal to me whom I've never seen. You were all just bleak faces to me. Pawns. I needed to kill as many pawns as possible to check and checkmate the king. As simple as that. So our family ties are the reason for everything. Yes, your mother's abilities are the result of the blood of immortals running through her veins. But it wasn't as prominent in her case as it is in yours. I'll give her that. She achieved a lot due to her perseverance and stamina. Some of my power remained in you for some reason. Anyone else would have died, but not you and not your mother. Is that why you want me on your side? I also sat on the edge of the roof, keeping my distance from MALBONTE. Path of strong nation with MALBONTE, let's go. Mom will never take your side. And you? If I take your side, if you win this war, where will that lead? Are you only driven by revenge, or are you really striving for harmony? I'm driven by revenge. I want to kill Sifa, but I don't need endless blood and death. No. But as soon as someone gets in your way, you'll kill. MALBONTE studied the building. For a moment his eyes lingered on the tower, but abruptly, as if forcibly, he shifted his gaze. When I was little, there was a town here where the academy stands now. Back then, they only talked about building the academy. He looked at me. You came to this world so late. And for you to be born, my parents had to be exiled. Wow. Faith always finds a way to mock us. That's funny. What's the matter with you? Are you saying goodbye to me? Are you breaking up with me already, MALBONTE? He looked up at me again, as if surprised that I could read him. I can read you. You don't have to say that. You don't have to say anything. I can read you. A war is coming. Really? You can die, maybe even by my hand. You talk about it so easily. I don't want to seem like someone I'm not. Sir, you are both. You're both. You can kill easily, and it doesn't make you feel like much. It doesn't make you feel much. Okay, because from that side, I would say that you are like numb. You don't feel when you kill, but as soon as you care about someone, hurting or killing them touches you. I got up and lifted me imperiously. My leg slipped. But MALBONTE managed to grab me around the waist without showing any sign of emotion. Sir, why are you always so why are you always so emotionless? Show emotion. I killed you, but I gave you immortality instead. Human life is worthless. It's like a trial version of something bigger. And yet I apologize for that. You care about me. I apologize for every death I caused that hurt you. Aww. And if we end up on different sides, forgive me now for killing you and killing all others who stand in my way. This is war. He is a good guy. I mean, his words are toxic. It reminds of a toxic relationship. But he's a good guy. He doesn't actually want to hurt people. He just wants justice, and killing